Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. Or if you follow us on Twitter at PokeBreakdown, EPEEP for short. So this week, it's not just me, sadly, everybody. I know. But he's still a good co-host. He is the funny one of the bunch, actually, because he has all the jokes. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, man, how you doing?
Not just you. Fuck.
Well, they come for my voice, man.
You know, the shoe's going to be on the other foot here in a couple weeks. You know.
I know. We start our wrestling podcast back up in a couple weeks now, and I'm sure you're going to have all the nicknames for me.
Oh, boy.
Oh, geez.
Wouldn't you just love to know?
Especially from our late dinner this past weekend. I'm sure that just, you're like, okay, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this. You got a bookload of them, didn't you?
I got sticky notes all over this motherfucker.
I'm scared. But yeah, this is episode number 23, Doug. This is part 2 of our 3-parter.
Yes.
Happy Halloween.
It's fucking... Well, and it's not going to make any sense for them as they're listening to this because they're going, fucker, it's January.
Yes, everybody. And I'm going to start doing this now at the beginning of each episode. I know we're kind of more than 20 episodes in, but we're recording this on October 27th of 2020. So you're hearing this on the second week of January. So yeah, that's how far we have stretched so far.
Yeah, and that's still, you've said it a fair amount at this point. It still blows my mind to think that we've somehow stumbled into being that proactive.
I know. I think it kind of helped that we weren't doing just one episode a week. And then on top of that, before we even started releasing our shows, we built up a small catalog, and we just built on top of that as well. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, us being in the podcast business for about 5 years now, we kind of know how to do this thing now.
That's another crazy little factoid. 5 years of doing this. Where the fuck has it gone?
I know. It went from doing a podcast in my car and ordering food through the drive-thru all the way to trying to at least be semi-professionals at this thing. I mean, hopefully one day we'll get to the point where there won't be any static on our shows. We'll have the professionals set up, and which I'm sure that's coming pretty soon. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Christmas gifts are getting ready to pop up. Christmas is about to pop up. Fuck. Damn.
I mean, people are saying Christmas. We've already returned half our shit.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I've purchased so far is my son's gift, along with two separate games to go with it that he wanted. So
yeah, and I've turned fully 13 again. I've asked for money.
Oh.
Because libraries don't build themselves up.
So, yeah, you're getting ready to start piling up on your PS5 library. So,
I mean, I ain't going to go crazy, but I would like to have a decent selection by the time stuff gets rolling. But yeah, so we're here to talk about
Pokemon.
part 2 of the Psychic arc.
Yes, this week's episode is called The Tower of Terror, Part 2. Is actually what it's called. And then translated from Japanese it's called Got It at the Pokemon Tower, is what it's translated from Japanese. So
yeah, I'll take the English translation this week.
Yeah, I'll take the English one as well. So, but Yeah, this episode dropped in Japan September 2nd of 1997, and here in the States, it dropped October 7th of 1998. And as you all know, and yeah, I'm sure you can guess who's going first this week already.
Just
But
by the intro, you're so excited.
so we like to go back in history or in the future, but for the most part, it's
Well, how
back
the
in history.
hell would we do that? Wait a minute. Don't skate by that like you didn't just say something kind of dumb.
No, I didn't say anything dumb because in a couple weeks I have a Pokemon one that's in the future.
I don't think we can do that.
No, I can't go
I think
into the future.
I don't think we can go into the future. I think that's bending the rules a little bit. I mean, you and I think we'll have to have a discussion.
Well, it's Pokemon related.
I don't know. I still think we're going to have a discussion.
But all right. So yeah, we like to go back in the past as to what happened on this historic date. And Doug, just by virtue, picked a really young one this week. Dougie, man, go ahead and take the ball.
So, on this date, that would be October 7th, in the year of our Lord 1984, Walter Payton surpasses Jim Brown to become the all-time leading rusher in NFL history.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Yeah, so Smith came into this game against the New Orleans Saints, needing 67 yards to gain the record. He ended up finishing the day with 154 because he's proficient like that. He ended his career with 16,728 yards, total rushing yards, and he held the all-time rushing mark until 2002 when Emmitt Smith broke the record.
Oh.
And he is currently, I believe, he is still I believe he's still second. I believe he's still second to Smith.
I can't verify nor neglect that. So I'm going to go with it and say he is. So, uh, so is that the end, Doug? Or did you have any other facts real quick, or am I good to go into
Yeah,
mine?
I did. I could. I would like to put a little cap on things.
Okay.
Yes. So Smith is still the current leader. Emmitt Smith currently, well, he's retired. So Emmitt Smith ended his career with 18,335 total rushing yards, and the next active guy who would have a shot at, I would say, passing Peyton, and if he keeps going, potentially getting all time, would be Frank Gore, who is currently playing for the New York Jets. Lord help his mortal soul.
Jesus.
And he, well, yeah, they're garbage.
Yeah.
And he,
Don't, yeah, just sugarcoat it, Doug.
yeah, we just lost half of New York. And yeah, so Frank Gore currently has 15,667. I believe these are current and up to date. So Walter is within his sights, and he would need to keep going for a few more seasons to potentially pass Smith.
All right. So, well, thank you for that update. I'm glad you were able to find it right before I got into mine. Yours
Yeah.
is a lot more elaborate than mine because mine this week, I have two birthdays, Doug.
Well, you have two, but you broke the rule.
Yeah, well, yeah, wait a minute. Actually,
Oh.
actually,
Oh.
what was your date, Doug?
84.
1984.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I could have actually gone first.
Ah.
Uh,
And that one you would have earned. You wouldn't have done that out of spite like you did last week.
yeah, I know. But yeah, I have two. And I'm not really breaking the rule because both these are actors. Well, one's more serious of an actor than the other. But on this day in 1970, Matt Damon was born.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. And then that South Park reference, everybody. Um, and then on this date in 1980, good old, and I know he don't like to go back to his roots, but good old Nickelodeon star Nick Cannon was born on this day. Holy fuck, this guy was 20 when I was watching. What? No, he was 15. He was 15 when he was in all that.
If Wrestling Chris G is going to start doing math, this would be your chance to go and get a drink and
Bro,
get a
math was my
sandwich.
best. Math was my best subject in school. Just saying. Just saying. I had to think about it. Ah. So, but yeah, both of these actors were born on this day. I thought it was pretty out there that I know both of these actors. Um, so it's pretty cool to give them a birthday shout out on our Pokemon podcast that I know that they're never ever going to listen to. Well,
They might vanity search themselves. They might come across a transcript of this episode.
yeah, well, that's if we transcript our episodes. We haven't done that yet.
I thought there were some services that just did that automatically.
Oh, maybe.
I could be right. I'm just completely spit. I don't know anything. I just
Well, I know in our email box we've been given offers along with people wanting to come on the show, and I guess we could kind of clear the air on this.
not 100%. Not from what you were telling me.
Well, I sent you a screen grab of the next person that wants to come on.
Well, yeah, but
Yes, we haven't
let's
gotten the
not,
first one
you
yet.
know, let's not count chickens and eggs and whatever.
Well, I no. Let me get out what I need to say. uh, we are we are willing on taking submissions for people to be on our show. Me and Doug have both agreed that it would be nice to do that, and I think we kind of agreed that maybe once a month or once every other month thing can be a we can have a guest that comes on and does a Pokemon episode of their choice. But I mean, we haven't hammered everything out. We're actually going to beta test this in 2 weeks, as long as everything goes to plan. We have a special guest that we're beta testing in 2 weeks on the primate episode.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't. I think calling it a beta test is kind of completely undercutting what because it's going out.
Yes, well, I mean it's going out there, but I mean it's a matter of will this podcast work as a 3-man? Because I know we do a 3-man with our wrestling show, but um, can we actually do a 3-man, keep it entertaining, and not really go off the rails too much with a third man?
Well, I mean, way to drop a hint. You don't know. It could third person.
Yeah. So I'm,
I well, yeah. I mean, let's get it. Let's get
I'm
everything locked in before.
well, I'm excited. I'm excited to do this. So I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to get our names out there. There's some YouTubers, and well, we have one YouTuber and we have one Twitch streamer that wants to be on the show. So what was the name that we said last week?
You mean what was the name that you said?
A a a Twitcher, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's what you said, but I in no way, shape, or form co-sign that.
so so yeah, we're these are in the books this year that you're listening to this episode. This is going to be the year that if everything rolls off fine, we'll have about maybe 8 or 9 guests this year, hopefully. Because we are taking applications, and I do have 2 personal colleagues that want to get on the show, but I'm not quite sure if I want to put personal friends on the show yet. I don't know.
I
I'll
don't
talk
know.
to
They in the span of 5 seconds, they went from being colleagues to just friends. What the fuck?
them. Colleagues are friends.
Well, no, colleagues are people you work with.
Well, we would be working with them.
Right, but you don't currently work with them, or unless you do.
No.
Well, all right then they're friends.
They're friends. Yes. So we'll see. Our name is finally out there. We have a decent following as of now, and I'm pretty happy to actually say that. You wouldn't know it looking at our Twitter, people. So go and hit that follow button. But I mean, we see the downloads and we know you're there. So go and hit us up on Twitter at Pokey Breakdown. Because I be tweeting a lot on that Twitter, whether it's our Pokemon episodes or it has something to do with Pokemon Go. So go ahead and hit up that Twitter feed. It's fun. So you ready to get on into this episode, Doug?
I've been ready.
All right. So we start this week's episode with the gang. We don't have a code entrance like we did last week, but
Or a recap, which I thought was a little.
well, I mean, we have the narrator basically go over what happened last week as they're walking into the fog. But the gang is walking. They're on their way to the Pokemon Tower so they can go and capture them a ghost Pokemon.
Well, I mean that's the hope.
Yeah. So, oh man, let's see.
So the fog gets really thick, and they try to employ the buddy system by grabbing hands, and they didn't really present this the best because they show Misty and Ash being within hands reach, but then a wide shot, and Brock's sitting there. He's like 10 yards back.
Yeah,
Like,
he's like,
and
where is everybody? Because once the fog gets so dense, they can't see. And Ash is going, I'm right here. And Brock is like, oh, okay. So Brock goes and grabs Pikachu's tail by accident, thinking that it's Ash's hand, and completely gets obliterated by a thundershock.
which fair play. I mean, he freaking you grab a Pokemon by the tail. What do you think's going to happen? You're either going to get flamethrower, you're going to get water gun, you're going to get, or you could get bit. Could have
Yeah.
turned around and bit him. He is a mouse.
But then after Brock kind of recoups himself, you have Ash that in in Saffron City, maybe the day prior, went and bought himself a skeleton mask and put the skeleton mask on just to fucking scare Pikachu, Brock, and Misty in this forest. Completely scares them by putting it on, and Pikachu just had no chill and was like, "You motherfucker, I'm gonna shock you now,"
Yeah,
and just
you're gonna get this work too. You're
and just boom, just shocks Ash and just lays him flat on his ass.
and then yeah. So I mean, and we've established early on and frequently that Pikachu has no chill. So I don't think we should be surprised by this at all.
I know. But I mean, he scared the mess out. But Pikachu, once he found out that it wasn't a real skeleton, Pikachu was just pissed. Pikachu, the photo that they built was like Pikachu grew like 10 times and looked down at Ash like, you motherfucker, you're about to get this business, and just boom.
Yeah, he was just mad, you know. I mean, pride was hurt more than anything.
So after all the jokes are done and everyone is back on their feet, the trio finds themselves in Lavender Town. And Lavender Town is the home of Pokemon Tower, where they are told that the ghost Pokemon like to hang out.
Yeah, I took issue with they like to hang out.
Why?
I just I mean, and it fits obviously because we find out that there kind of literally is three ghost Pokemon literally hanging out and watching TV, but it's just kind of us wild Pokemon we like to get together, hang out and play cards. Kind of weird verbiage, I suppose.
Yeah, and they didn't really present this Pokemon Tower like they did back in the Pokemon game. Because if I'm remembering correctly, Doug, and we like to talk about the similarities between the Pokemon game and the TV show, but didn't in the video game you had to get a Silph telescope and you look through this telescope or you have it on you and it lets you be able to see what ghost Pokemon are?
Yeah, I think you had to equip it. I think, and then you could see. And I remember the music got all spooky. It was good stuff.
Yeah. And there was a bunch of Ghastly and Haunter. I mean, you didn't see Gengar until the very ending.
No.
And Gengar ended up turning out to be a little Cubone, wasn't it? Oh no, oh no, no, no.
No,
I I
no,
I
no.
I I had that backwards. Gengar presented himself as a possessed Cubone and then ended up being a Gengar at the end and then ran away and then you saved everybody that was inside of this building.
It's been a hot minute since I
Yeah,
played those games.
same here, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went. So that I'm gonna roll with it. So Ash and the gang walk up to Pokemon Tower, and right when they walk up to it, they get creeped out because it's nighttime. There's a little bit of fog in the air, and this tower just looks all sorts of creepy. And Ash immediately goes, "Okay, we're here, but you know what? I'm going to do this in the morning, and I'm just going to lay here on the ground in my sleeping bag. Pikachu, you good?" And Pikachu's like, "Chew," and just lays right next to him. And Misty's like, no, we're about to go into this building. Wake up!" And just
No, 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 not Weir. She was about to just because she didn't have to go in with him. She was willing to push him in there and then wait out with Brock, and then Ash gets to Pokemon, they dip out, and then we turn back around to pardon me, to Saffron.
yes.
So
So
Misty didn't want to spend any more time than she absolutely had to, so she pulls out the old travel gong.
yeah, that's like three times the size of all of them, and just it surprises me what they fit into these little tiny bags that they're just walking around with. I
Well,
mean, I mean, Brock has like a whole tea set and
Brock's,
food, and
Brock's got a whole kitchen.
yeah, he has a whole kitchen on his back. Ash has an extra pair of clothes, underwear, and a few Pokeballs, which we find out in this episode. And I don't know what the hell Misty has in hers because
Um,
she doesn't wear makeup. I mean, we know
water,
she has we know she has a bikini.
water Pokemon.
Well, that isn't that on her belt? Oh yeah, she keeps them inside of her bag. Okay. She has a spare change of clothes, a bikini, and her Pokemon, water Pokemon. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's at this point that that she wakes him up to send him in, and we find out Team Rocket is on like the third floor inside of this building, and they've been waiting on Ash and the gang to come here.
And I would have liked to have seen how Team Rocket just happened to end up in this tower.
Well, I mean, they were in the last episode, and they knew that he was going after the ghost Pokemon, so they beat him there.
Well, I know, but them getting into the tower, I think, would be worth a few.
Well, I can tell you right now how it happened. So, it looks like they got there during the day, which we found out that the ghost Pokemon sleep during the day. So they didn't encounter any ghost Pokemon when they went into this tower. But while they're in there, and Meowth is doing his little spiel, um, Ghastly is just now waking up in one of the cabinets.
Oh,
So, and this is after James. James had fallen through the floor, and as Jesse is looking through the hole at a fallen James, Ghastly, yeah, wakes up out of the cabinet, and Meowth sees Ghastly and goes, uh, 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 and it's just all sorts of creeped out. And when he tells Jesse to turn around, she doesn't see Ghastly because
no,
Ghastly's playing tricks.
right. And Ghastly then kind of disappears and reappears
On Jesse's
basically,
face.
yeah, on Jesse's face, and Meowth says, "Well, I've had enough of this," and just scratches, and
Oh,
obviously,
oh man, he tried to scratch a ghost Pokemon and just completely obliterated Jesse's face. That was I was dying. I was like, man, if this was in real life.
and then obviously, Jesse's rather upset.
Pissed. Oh, she was pissed.
Wow.
Because let's not even gloss over what Meowth said as he's getting ready to scratch Jesse. He sees the ghost Pokemon and gets his claws out and goes, "Go away!" and just scratch.
So obviously, Jesse freaks out because she's got, three long scratch marks across her face, one going over her eye, which just can't feel good. Um, and she goes, "You've ruined my face. You've ruined perfection. What have you done?" And she bounces him around like a fucking pinball with this big old mallet and just drops him down the hole.
And he lands right on top of James, who James is just knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, well, there's a quick shot, and they're actually all both, got the swirly eye,
Yeah.
and then
It's at
trying.
this point that Jessie starts looking at her face inside of the mirror and notices Ghastly behind her, and then
Oh, right, this is where I had a problem.
and she falls into the hole and knocks herself out. But why did you have a problem with that?
Ghastly shouldn't be able to see his reflection.
Well, he's a Pokemon.
Right, but he's a ghost.
Oh, true, true. Well, true. Yeah, yeah. That's a little twist in the Pokemon series. So I guess ghost Pokemon can see their reflection. Didn't we just have a few episodes ago with Ghastly that Ghastly cannot see his? Yeah, you're right. Okay, come on, Pokemon, get it together.
Yeah, really. So yeah, like you said, Jesse, sees Ghastly in the reflection of the mirror, faints.
And
They
they
all end
just
up in a dog pile,
and
and
they
then
fall through another floor and just continue to fall all the way down and just knock themselves out. But the gang ends up hearing their screams from the outside, and it scares them because
and
they think it's ghost Pokemon.
yeah, they think people are being tortured in there.
Yeah.
So obviously that doesn't exactly make them want to just go. Oh, pardon me. That doesn't make them want to go running in there just willy nilly.
And they don't, thankfully, right away, because we go straight from that to Team Rocket, who has crashed all the way down to what looks like it's the basement, and then Ghastly appears again, and they just faint.
Right. And then, then we do cut back to the trio, and Brock and Misty basically push Ash to go. Like they're gonna follow him, but they want to make damn sure that Ash goes in there first.
Yeah, and isn't Brock the oldest one? Like Brock should just be okay with going in there. He's the gym leader.
Yeah, but he's not the one they're trying to catch the Pokemon for.
True.
So,
So,
and then we get Dickhead Ash, um, because we walk in.
hey, Ghost Pokemon, I'm here to catch you.
Well, I'm not even worried about that. I'm basically, okay, come here, Charmander, be a flashlight real quick.
How is
Like,
that being a dick?
that's being a dick. He's not there to be a goddamn walking flashlight. He's there to battle.
Charmander is over here taking notes and like, when I become a teenager, I'm going to not listen to you, and these are going to be the reasons why.
And here's the other thing, right? Like he comes out, and you can automatically tell that the room has gotten lighter just by
Yes.
virtue of the tail flame. So why is Charmander using energy that he might not have to just use flamethrower just for shits?
Oh, well, this isn't the first time Charmander gets to use this move 3 times in this episode.
Yeah, he's basically out the whole. I didn't even catch that until like towards the end of the episode. But then, you know, Brock's like, "Oh, I found a candle." Obviously, and the natural response to me would have been, "Come here, Charmander. Let me use your tail for 1 second."
It's funny you say that because me and Stephanie was saying the same thing. Why didn't he just put the tail up to the candle and light it?
Right. But no, he has to use flamethrower. Maybe he wanted to. Maybe he said, "Fuck, I'm gonna get one over on this guy." So he burns Brock. So Brock hasn't had a good couple of minutes here. Brock's been shocked and burnt, and we haven't even really gotten into the episode.
I know, but I mean, and let's talk about how this was Brock's idea, and then Brock gets mad and yells at Charmander.
That's not even his Pokemon to yell at, so he should just fuck all the way off.
And Pikachu is just having a grand old time, like,
Yeah,
oh, this is awesome, and just clapping.
yeah. Which I feel like Pikachu should be mad on Charmander's behalf.
No, Pikachu's not on anybody's side.
Yeah, Pikachu's just a shit stirrer.
So we go straight from that, and they hear the ghost Pokemon um, galloping around somewhere within the house, and then they come across the hole that Team Rocket has fallen through.
And they say, "Careful, there's a hole in the floor," which I mean was funny. I mean, admittedly that's funny.
Because they're always falling into holes.
And then they walk into this big dining room with the
No, no,
table
no,
set.
no. We skipped a part because we finally get the introduction of the ghost Pokemon.
Oh, of course.
So we go straight from them looking at the floor to Hunter and Gengar are inside of what looks like just this broken down little room, even though they have a better room in this house, which we'll find out in a bit.
It's a man cave.
Yeah. So they're inside this little broken down room watching what looks to be like a funny Pokemon show or I guess
It's a
funny
slapstick
comedy.
show.
Yeah,
It's like
the
Benny
Three
Hill, Mr.
Stooges.
Bean, the Three Stooges. Yeah.
And they're watching this full blown color, by the way. And Hunter and Gengar are just having a grand old time. But I wanna take a look at that. Gengar and Hunter have drinks.
Right.
They're ghosts.
It's a ghost soda.
It's a ghost soda, Doug. It's a ghost soda. Is that what we're going with?
Sure is.
Just like Boatsmager.
Mountain Boo. I don't know.
Mountain. Oh, geez. So, so they're having a good old time, and yeah, at this point, Doug, if you want to continue now, they walk into the room with all of this nice silverware.
Yeah. So they walk into this dining room that's clearly set up for a function. For like a dinner. And they say, "Well, this is swanky." And then they see this big rope in the middle of the room, and the note on the cord says, "Pull me," which I would be suspicious, but this is a kid show, so they pull it, and the little
It
ball at the
welcomes
top of
them.
it welcomes them. There's confetti, and they say, "Well, this is pretty sweet. This is pretty sweet," and then shit starts immediately going haywire.
Yeah, everything that's on the table just starts lifting, and everything that's inside of the room just starts lifting. And then a couple of the plates pick up Charmander and Pikachu, and a chair picks up Brock, and they're just trying to get out of there. And why was Charmander and Pikachu on the plate? Were they trying to
Well,
insinuate that they were going to eat these Pokemon?
I mean, the turkey was only so big. Once you get done with the turkey, you got to eat something.
I'm sure Charmander tastes
No,
very.
well,
It's all
well, he's
it's
cooked.
I was about to say he's already cooked.
Yeah,
I'm joking, everybody, joking.
but
But
um, no, I think that was just a matter of where they ended up. So they bail basically, and we see kind of the destruction in the room, and then we get the three ghosts popping back up and laughing, and then we get what I assume is the Who's That Pokemon.
yes, and it's good old. Actually, I'm going to ask you, who do you think it is?
Yeah, because you said you're not going to get this one right. So because you said I wasn't going to get it right, I'm going to say this week it's got to be Gengar.
Oh, okay. Well, you did get it right. Look at
Ah,
that.
that means I'm going to get it right next week too. Fuck you.
Oh, so yes, this was Gengar this week. So we come back from commercial, and the gang had run out of the tower. They were scared out of the tower, scared shitless. And here's where we get Dick Ash. I'm gonna say 9.0 at this point.
Damn, 9.0.
Yeah. Uh, So Ash, I mean, they all ran out of there. Ash was one of them that ran out of there, and he's like, "Okay, let's get ready to go back in." And then nobody wants to go back inside. And then he goes and calls his Pokemon, along with Brock and Misty, fucking cowards.
Now wait a minute. Now I wouldn't expect me to be doing this early in this series. I didn't take it as being a dick. I took it as a little bit of mistimed motivation. Because could he have gone at it in a better way? Absolutely.
He yelled at them.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you got to yell at him to get good results.
Well, he made
Fire him
he
up.
well, it's funny you say fire him up.
Oh,
Um, Well, he made Charmander feel so bad that he didn't want to go in there, and by calling him a coward, that Charmander got so pissed that he flamethrowered Ash.
right. Which is
Yeah.
why I don't. I didn't. Which is why I'm not considering Ash to be a dick because he got his comeuppance right away.
Well, Charmander did this to Brock and Misty at the same time. So all three of them got the flamethrower, which I don't think they deserved the
Well,
flamethrower as much as Ash did.
sometimes you need a little heat every once in a while.
Yeah,
Um,
a little pick me up.
but
So
so I have another question, which is kind of irrelevant, but
what's up?
it's kind of bothering me as I'm watching it because we've kind of established that Charmander has basically been out of his ball the whole episode.
Yes.
Why?
Well, he was the flashlight.
Well, yeah, but so do we need the flashlight? Just like have our eyes not adjusted at this point?
I'm guessing Charmander was the first motherfucker outside of that building, and they all followed right behind Charmander because Charmander led the way because without him, there was no light. And there's holes in the
Right,
floor.
right. Well, right, but so, but now Charmander's just having a flame is enough, where it wasn't 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
Okay,
It's
kid
it's
show.
kid show.
It's a kid
Can't
show.
can't can't think that much, Doug.
So they walk back in there. They're all full of piss and vinegar, and they walk right up to the hole.
Oh, this was my favorite part in this whole episode.
And why don't you take it?
So Charmander, Pikachu, and Ash walk back into the building, and they walk up to one of the holes, and they see a hole, and and Ash wonders if a ghost Pokemon is at the bottom. So he goes, Pikachu, shock it. So Pikachu shocks the hole, and all the way at the bottom, Team Rocket's still knocked out and gets Thunder Shock and gets woken up. So, and then at this point, Ash is like, "Oh, the electricity's set. Okay, so there must be a ghost Pokemon there. Charmander, get it!" And Charmander does a flamethrower, and fucking flamethrowers Team Rocket, and they start running around in a circle. And he's like, "Ooh, a fireball!" And then we go to the scene with Team Rocket, and Team Rocket's down there, and Meowth and James are just sitting there, and they're looking at Jessie going, ooh, Jessie has fire in her eyes because she gets mad, and then Meowth goes, yeah, and in her hair, and she
Wait,
starts.
so we're just gonna skip over the part where Jesse catches a Pokeball straight in the face.
Oh, I forgot about that part. Yeah, Ash sees the fire going around in a circle, and he takes out his Pokedex to see if he can get anything on a ghost Pokemon. And all Dexter says is ghost Pokemon are vapor, and then has no picture at all. He's like, oh, well, maybe I can catch it, and takes his Pokeball and tosses it down.
He
And
said,
just
maybe I could catch
and the ball just goes and just hits Jessie straight in the face. So she just patted her hair dry of fire, and she's already just pissed. And now she gets a fucking Pokeball straight to the face, like bam. And Ash
the
goes,
dome.
well, and Ash goes, well, did I catch it? I don't think I caught it. Well, maybe I'll get the next one. Just all sorts of just.
Oh man.
But it is this point in the episode where Haunter makes his presence known to Ash, scares Ash, and Ash starts running. And I had a problem with this next part.
hmm
You did too, I take it,
No,
right?
I was just agreeing with you. I'm seeing where you're going.
Ash goes running, and Pikachu goes running, and so does Charmander. And a chandelier falls.
Oh, this part. Yeah, no, I had a big old problem. This is why I could take or leave this episode, quite frankly.
So, Ash takes out first. Ash takes out his Pokedex when he sees Hunter, and it goes, Hunter is a gas vapor Pokemon. No further data obtained. And he goes,
That is all.
yeah, that is all. And Ash is like, well, that's it. And Haunter just scares him. Ash runs, the chandelier falls, and the chandelier collapses on top of Pikachu and Ash, knocking them out. And I didn't quite, I mean, I don't know if they were knocked out, and then Haunter goes over to Ash and Pikachu and literally takes their soul out of their body and just brings it up. But where the fuck was Charmander? Oh, Charmander ran outside.
Charmander ran
Yeah.
because he's had enough excitement for today. Um. So yeah. So they're unconscious, right?
Oh, I skipped over Charmander's funny face to Hunter, but yeah,
I mean,
my bad, my bad.
it's there. If y'all are watching the episode, you can pause this podcast, watch that, and come back to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're unconscious, and Hunter basically takes their souls
Yes.
and says, "Oh, now we're the same." And all they really say in terms of alluding to the fact that they're dead is, "I don't want to be a ghost yet."
Yes.
But then Gengar and Hunter basically show Ash and Pikachu the perks of being a ghost. You know, they can fly and they can see the whole city, and then they get out, and as they're out, you know, kind of, they look down and they see Brock and Misty, and they say, "Oh, we can have some fun."
I love this because it just scares the mess out of Misty.
And you know, he pops down and does the whole, "Ah, oh, Misty, I'm really worried about me," and then Misty thinks, "Oh, that's a familiar voice, but I don't know where that's coming from." And then he straight up picks her up.
Yes, which I didn't think that Ghost can do, but he picks up Misty all the way up into the air and goes, Brock, catch, and just
Yeah.
drops her.
And what if he hadn't?
Misty would have had a broken tailbone.
Misty would, yeah, she would have at least broken her ass.
Her no ass.
Well, or whatever she's got back there.
Yeah.
And then so they go back into the castle, and it's at this point that the three ghosts show us their playroom, like I'm not saying that as a general, as it's their literal playroom, like
Playroom.
there's swings and balls and
There's a there's a
blocks.
there's a mini pool inside of this
It's a,
room.
it's a playroom, and
Yes.
this is, you know, Ash kind of has a head slap moment where he's like, "Oh, you didn't want to scare everybody. You just wanted somebody to play with," and they're all excited because they got company.
And
Pikachu,
Pikachu's having a whole grand old time swinging.
yeah, and you know they're having fun, but Ash is like, "Well, I
I
unfortunately I can't stay.
There's a
I
lot of people that I need to battle, and there's a lot more badges that I need to get to become the best Pokemon trainer.
And you know the three ghosts are upset, but you know, and they start crying. But I think in the long and short, I think they understand. So we go back to Pikachu and Ash's unconscious bodies, which, you know, Brock and Misty have courteously moved them from under the chandelier. Um, and they go back in, and then they, you know, wake up, and you know,
Yeah,
Misty was crying, and
Ash and Pikachu put themselves back into their bodies and wake up, and now they get introduced. Well, Brock and Misty get introduced to Ghastly, Gengar, and Hunter inside of this tower. They freak out, but then Ash goes, "Well, it's impossible to catch these Pokemon, so I guess it's about time to leave."
see, I didn't take that interpretation. I take it as at this moment as they're sitting there because they're walking out. And
Ash said he said they're impossible to catch.
right, he says that as they're walking out, but I didn't take it that Brock and Misty saw any of them,
Oh,
because Ash looks up and sees them. Misty's too busy wiping tears out of her eyes, and Brock's doing whatever he's doing. Because as they're walking, and as we're wrapping up this episode, um, they're walking, and Pikachu points behind them, and that's when Hunter, you know, pops down and does his face, and then Brock and Misty run away,
yeah,
and then
they start running, and then Misty looks at oh wait, no, that's the next episode. My bad, my bad. I'm
so
jumping ahead an episode.
so they're so they're gone. Brock and Misty are gone, and Ash and Hunter start laughing, and
And then we
it
jump
seems
back.
like we have some type of unspoken agreement, and then we go back into the castle and we see that
Team Rocket's still in there, and they've been tied to the merry-go-round, going at like 50 miles per hour in a circle, just making
which
them
is
all sorts of dizzy.
just hell.
And Gengar and Ghastly are just having a grand old time.
And we end with the fantastic line of "Looks like Team Rocket's throwing up again."
Yes.
Just hell.
So great episode, though. As you say you could take or leave this episode, but
I could take it or leave it, and I was sitting there going, because like I say, it's been a while since I've watched them, and I watched part 2, and Ash dies, but nothing's said about death. But a little bit of spoiler for part 3, and I'll probably bring it up next week. Somebody says something about being dead.
Oh.
And I'm going, okay, so it's not a rule. They just chose not to say anything last week.
Yes.
Or, in the last episode.
Yes.
Like, that's weird to me.
Well, was Ash really dead when the chandelier hit him?
Yes.
So
you took his soul. Hunter took their souls from their bodies. They're without the with words.
without their souls, they're dead.
They're dead.
So yeah, I guess they were dead.
Which is a hell of a conversation to have before you send kids to school.
Yeah, this did come on in the morning on Kids WB. And let me see what day of the week this was. This episode came out on a Thursday. This was a Thursday.
Yeah, because the next episode.
Oh wait, no. This one came out Wednesday. The next one's on Thursday.
Next
so
one's
this
on
is
Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, this came out on Hump Day.
Yeah, not the kind of conversation you want to have with your kid at 6:45 on a Wednesday morning.
While you're eating your Captain Crunch.
Or your Hot Pocket.
Yes. So, all right, but that kind of sums up this week's episode. This was part 2, and next week they're heading back to Saffron City to see if Ash can go and gather up his Marsh badge.
So, just so we're clear heading into the next episode.
Okay.
Ash has not caught Hunter.
No.
The narrator says it looks like Hunter wants to join in Ash's journey.
Yes. So Hunter seems to be following them, but we get more of a clarity at the end of next week's episode as to what's going on here.
Well, right. I mean, I'm just because for the longest time, basically until I watched this episode, I thought there was an agreement at the end of episode 2. There's not really an agreement until about halfway into episode 3, and even then it's a loose agreement.
Yes, a very loose agreement.
Which we'll see, and obviously if we go any further, it's the wrong episode, so I'm going to end it this week.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and end this episode. I'm gonna let you do your old goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling you that you have to tune in to see what happens next week, because next week's episode is Hunter versus Kadabra. It is part 3 of this trilogy. Have a good night, everybody.